What's going on, everyone? All About the Data podcast. We back with another guest. You already know what it is. I almost didn't get to make it here with y'all, but it came through for the one time. So y'all already got all the hosts in the building, and we got a new special guest, Jakyll, in the building. Somebody, let's call it. Who's our special guest today, and what we got going on?
Everything. A myriad of different data roles in a complex lifestyle that involves numbers. So look forward to talking to the people.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So let's go ahead and get this show started. Let's go ahead and
deeps.
All right, so Jakyll is an experienced artificial intelligence and machine learning product manager, data scientist, and former business analyst with a demonstrated history of working in business analytics and data management. As a data scientist, Jakyll was responsible for supporting the Verizon internal audit team with data analytics and automation. This includes data preparation, data cleansing, data wrangling, data manipulation, anomaly detection, and providing data visualization for business insight. He has extensive work experience across different industries, starting as a statistical analyst at Jakyll before moving into his current position. And he's completed 2 bachelor's degrees, one in computer science and another in informatics, both from Mercer University. He currently attends Kennesaw State University, pursuing a master's in information technology. Well, that was a mouthful.
Okay.
You are very accomplished. Okay.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Gas me up. Keep gassing me up.
Got you.
Car ain't working, boy, so we gotta gas you up. We gotta gas on him.
Okay. It's there. The work is there.
Yeah.
That's what's up, though.
Oh, now you got a Discord community and all too. So it's
Yeah. My Discord community isn't on your level, but we're trying to build a little something.
you helping people. That's the same level, man. It ain't about the impact. So it's just as good. And you're a part of the Black Tides too, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So we gonna shout out to Black Tides. We got 2 Black Tides in the building. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get it started for today. I want to ask you a question. What made you get into tech in the first place? Like, what brought you to data, brought you to tech in general?
Yeah, so it's funny, man. I started off working in customer service. So during my time at Jakyll, I was on the phone, old school answering calls, just trying to make a living. And I've always had an interest in numbers, data, analytics, just understanding what's the other side, how decisions are made. And I actually reached out to a guy who's still a good friend of mine. He was one of the managers in my department at the time. And he told me, he's like, well, why don't you just present to the service department about some of the things and just come up with a presentation. So I'm in there scrambling, gathering data, like just random stuff, and putting together what I think would make customer service better at Jakyll. And I was able to give that presentation, and they actually created that statistical analyst role for me. So that was my first break.
Nice.
And from there, I was like, okay, how do I, make this something bigger? Like, I hear about these folks that go on and do startups and, make millions and, have these grandiose impacts. And so that led me to the field of data science, and I just started trudging from there. And,
So it's funny. I actually started in customer service too. Went from tier 1 to tier 2. So with you starting in customer service, I know me. I started in customer service just because I needed a job, not really because I wanted to be in tech. So for you, was it that tech was already part of the plan, or you kind of just ended up in this space and you said, "Let me just shoot for the stars"?
I really slipped into it and just said, "Let me shoot for the stars." Like I said, I've always was exposed to computers. I mean, it really goes back to my dad. He was, he went to school for computer engineering. He ended up becoming a nuclear engineer. but he always exposed me to technology. Like, come help me build a computer. Look at this new thing. So I always had an interest there, but I was kind of like you, customer service. It was just, I need some money. I got to pay this rent bill. And then, I got that opportunity through him. And then I was like, okay, let me shoot for the star. How far can this really go? And then I started seeing some of the numbers and I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to get there.
Yeah. Sure. This is a little off topic, but I got to ask, like, how did you survive customer service?
I'm naturally a calm person under pressure. So even though someone may be upset or I don't know, they may feel some type of way about, like for Jakyll, it was all about, well, my premium went up or, you canceling me. My thing is, how do I problem solve that? Okay. Some problems aren't solvable. Like if we're canceling you, there's nothing we can do about that, but I can give you that information in the calmest way possible. And then it just makes you difficult to get upset at me,
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my path.
And my biggest issue is I won't say the name of the company, but I worked for ISP, and it'll be an outage, and the customer will be like, "I need it working now." I'm like, "What do you want me to do? It's an outage."
It definitely was a lot of pressure. I think the worst pressure I got there was I know, like I would get a call and somebody's like, hey, I'm on the side of the road. The police are here. Tell them I have insurance. And we've already canceled them. Or they already got canceled. I'm like, I can't do that. So that'll be the worst. And the police will be like, all right, well, got to take you in. You don't have any insurance. You just got in an accident. So like,
yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But I'm glad this is actually interesting because this is gonna lead right into my next question then. Being that you kind of just more so got into tech support just for the job and saw another opportunity and said, let me shoot for the stars. Do you feel like data in general is, whether it's data analyst, data scientist, business analyst, business intelligence, do you think that degrees and certifications are a necessity to transition into this role, or can you transition into it and then focus on that later? Like, what's your viewpoint on that?
Quick answer is no. More elongated answer, I would say full disclosure. So when I moved into the statistical analyst role, did not have a degree yet and had a lot of foolishness going on at school. So, we don't have to go into that part, but, was definitely not looking toward graduating anytime soon. And so that was, they took a chance on me, but I think more companies probably need to do that. I think people have the skill set without the degree anyway. I think it's more so about educating the person on how to use these particular statistical methods. How do I pull data? How do I report it? All that can be taught without, any form of formal education in a sense. A lot of people, I know for a lot of people, my coworkers were OTJ folks, like on the job. They, got thrown into a role. They say, hey, you seem pretty smart. Here you go. Figure this system out, learn how to use it, and then publish a report by the end of the day. And, folks figured it out. I mean, there was a lot more on the job, I would say, than it is today. But yeah, I don't think that a certificate, I think it can help, a certification or a degree. I think it definitely can help, but I wouldn't say it's a necessity in today's landscape.
Okay, so I posted a tweet the other day that went viral about free resources. They were mainly YouTube. I guess you can say they were notable videos. They had views and lots of comments and things like that. So do you think, kind of piggybacking off that question, do you think an individual could go on YouTube, look at those videos, get the skill, walk in and get the job?
Depends on what job they're applying for. I think I break it down into levels, right? So I think like a business analyst, data analyst role, I think personally, if you're practicing off YouTube and you're practicing on your own, I think you can do that job, coming off of strictly online education, right? I think as a data scientist, there's a lot of fundamental statistical stuff and background information that you have to know that you may not necessarily find online. That may be something that you want to do more research. But even then, you could probably find it like in a Coursera or Udemy or some, platform like that. But I think that's where you kind of need more of an advanced education. But as a data analyst or business analyst, or even a statistical analyst, I think you could do that coming off the street.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I asked that because I know that's some people's like, is this enough? And my comeback is always, if you watched it, you practiced it, and you learned it, shoot, all you gotta do is just go apply, and that's how you're gonna find out. So.
Yeah, Jay, it's funny you bring that up because I got into I guess you would say a spat. I would just call it straight argument. But the problem isn't whether or not could you do the job coming off the street. It's whether or not you're going to be gatekeeped before you even get a chance to actually try to do the work.
Exactly.
So somebody's probably HM is probably going to have some bias from something else and hate on you before you even get a chance to actually practice the work. Because I had to. What humbled me the most is once I finally broke into IT, a serious IT business analyst role. I spoke with a guy who was on the team. He was more experienced, higher grade than me, everything. And, I asked him, I was like, well, where did you go to school at? He's like, oh, I didn't go to school. And I'm talking about this man knew everything. Like, I was like, okay, let me take a step back. Because, I'm thinking it's everybody with a master's or PhD at this level. But no, this man had no formal education. He was thinking about going to get his associates.
I think that comes back to networking.
Yeah.
I think networking can kind of fill that gap in a sense, because most of the interviews I've been having, I haven't even applied to them. Most of them been but if I applied to it, it's because somebody inside told me like, hey, go apply now, and whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that definitely is a big asset. But yeah, I appreciate that. Those definitely were interesting answers that I feel like people needed to hear, because so it's good for them to hear from somebody who's actually in the field doing it, as I'm still somebody pivoting into it. So appreciate that. So yeah, let's get back to the show. Keep it going, keep it flowing.
Yeah, so going back to the introduction, you've been a data scientist, you're now a product manager, and you're also a statistical analyst. Like, could you tell us more your experience in each role and which one you like best?
Yeah, so I guess I can go into what were the responsibilities and what did I actually do in them, and then I'll definitely talk about which one the best. I'll tell y'all. Well, I guess I'll tell y'all top. Probably data scientist is the best because I love data science, but I have a mug here that has nothing but data science stickers on it. I don't know if y'all can see that. So statistical analyst, that was, again, it was specifically on customer service metrics. So there I'm pulling reports, publishing different, different presentations or whatnot. And, I'm identifying opportunities for that particular department. So if I see, let's say random metric is call handling time, right? That's how long you're on the phone. If, I see that, traditionally we average, 360 seconds, and now we're at 400, I'm pointing that out to the team and saying, hey, how do we close that gap? Is there something in our process that's potentially taking too long? So that was that role. As a business analyst there, I was more so writing business requirements and thinking of how do I move my own particular product? And that's actually what prepped me for product management. And so I own the online channel of when a customer goes to our online platform, what does that look like and what is that flow for them? If they want to, add a driver or add a vehicle, what does that flow look like? And how do I improve engagement in that process? Data scientists there, it was more about finding problems and, if I can put it in layman terms, snitching on people. but I'm finding inconsistency within the data. So I'm finding any anomalies or I'm getting the assignment from the team to say, hey, we want you to look into this. Can you do a deeper dive and give us more information about it? So I'm using, that's where I'm using my Python, SQL, thinking of ways I can either clean the data or manipulate it to give them whatever cut of the data that they want to see. And then now as a PM there, I'm more so looking into different areas of the business and seeing how we can place already created or newly created artificial intelligence, machine learning tools within that particular area of the business, and what does that impact look like? But data scientist was the best.
Yeah.
So can I do a spin off real quick on that? How did you get into the data science part of that? Like, did you start off as a business analyst and you got into data science? Like, what did you study? Like, was it like the statistics? And give me a book because I like data science. So
you want to like, what was my education process like?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I did study, but I'm a slacker, so I'm not one of those. I'm not going to sit here in front like I just picked up every book. I know a lot of the fundamental books, like I would say definitely get a Python, book that you have in your repertoire. And, again, like Jay was saying, if you can find Python online at YouTube, I think that's a heavy hitter. I definitely did that. I think I did that before I even got into statistical analyst. So I did Python online, and then I did a lot of SQL stuff. And then, of course, I got that practice on the job. And so, but mainly I'm a YouTube guy. I like, even now there's a TV behind me. I'll click it on. I'll type in, let's see, I hate to shout these people out, I don't, but I'll turn on Ken G, and then I'm just, turn around and I'll watch that on the TV and see what he has to say about the news.
Shout out to Ken. I'm trying to get him on.
Yeah, I watch him too.
Yeah, get him on. He's awesome.
Ken G's like trying to reach the president right now.
No, I definitely turn him on. I'll turn on Data Science Jay. I don't know if y'all are hip to him. I'll turn on
Data Science Jay. Oh my God, Jay man.
You got a competitor out there.
Oh my God. Analytics Jay.
Yeah, I turn on Tina Wang. She has a very good channel. And Seattle Data Guy. I don't know if y'all are hip to him. He's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, what about for statistics?
Statistics, that was through my formal education. So I actually took a statistics 1, and then a statistics course for engineers, because I started off with this grandiose idea I was going to be a chemical engineer, and here we are. So
I think I got PTSD from undergrad stats.
It's right.
Like so we had to take a second look. Like, okay,
I remember I took stats, but I dropped out shortly thereafter, so there ain't much memory going.
No, that one took me for a loop. That one came from left field for me because I thought I was good at math, and I was like, wait a minute, what is this?
If you're aiming for the data scientists, data scientists, it's gonna come back. Because my end goal personally is, I like data scientists and PM and whatnot, but I would like to try to get in the research scientist track, because that's where big dollars are. So.
Very cool, very cool. Oh, Shanice, you continue with your question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had lost the outline. Okay, I'm back. So what were some of the challenges that you faced in each one of your roles?
Oh, well, that's where that gatekeeping comes back. So definitely ran into a lot of that. And so for me, my gatekeeping experience was more so not telling me about opportunities that lived within the company. So like, I'm always big on like catching a free training or catching a free, rotation opportunity or something like that. And, in my experience at previous companies, they were blocking that from me. I would hear somebody else, oh yeah, I'm in the data science track. I'm getting ready to graduate the program. I'm like, what program are you talking about? And so that was definitely a hurdle. And how I got over it is just doing it on my own. Just saying, I'm going to set up my own curriculum. I'm going to do my own, courses. I'm going to learn this on my own. And then, when the time comes and you're like, hey, Jakyll, I think you're an excellent fit for this role. I'm like, oh, well, I got such on the line, and they offer me $30K more than what you got. So now what?
Right. Exactly.
so I mean, that's how I've always played that. So definitely that gatekeeping problem. Coding is hard. I think people try to simplify it, make it seem like it's, it's real easy. Anybody can do it. It's not an easy task. So giving myself grace to make mistakes. I think a lot of people are, they're high pressure. Like, I got to do this in the next 3 months. Give yourself some grace. learn how to take an L. I know for me, that happened with coding and that happened with the interview process. Because I would get upset. I'm like, I applied to 100 jobs. I know I have the skill set. Why won't you at least give me a call back? And I got mad, but I had to learn how to say, okay, how can I ask for feedback? How can I, get a response on that, on that experience? And then how can I build from that? So yeah, I definitely had the negative interview experience, and then the gatekeeping, I think were big challenges. And then, like I said, just coding in itself was difficult. So I got a monster delivered.
Yeah. Did you have any challenges when it came to learning SQL?
SQL, no. And I honestly don't know why. It came to me pretty naturally. Like, even now, I mean, I look in the channel and I see people, post every now and then. I'm like, either I'll get distracted at work or something, but I'm like, I know the answer to that question. And I'll try to get it in there real quick. But, it came pretty naturally to me. I don't know why. What the beast for me is Python. And even to this day, if the interview involves Python, I'm like, here we go. Like what elements, what do you want to know? And even with like R, like that language there, I mean, it's a little complicated, but I have a decent understanding there. But yeah, no, SQL was decent for me.
Got it. Which database do you use now? Or which one?
I didn't hear the second part of the question.
Which one do you use now? Which one did you start with?
Like the architecture of the database or the language?
The language, like Postgres or
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, we're Postgres SQL. Yes, that's correct. Postgres. We also use HiveQL too, because we do have some stuff that lives in HiveDB.
Okay. Awesome. That's good, because I've been on my Postgres 5. So
good, yeah. Yeah, most interviews, I can say this as an interviewer, most interviews are going to be in Postgres SQL. I don't think I've had any NoSQL or anything else, interviews or T-SQL or any of that. So
that's good to know.
That's good to know. Yeah, so I can.
That's a good thing, because that's all I've been studying lately. I said I'm gonna specialize in that, so that's even best to know. So I'm gonna come to you. So don't take it easy on me when you interview me for the job position.
I got you. Listen, I'm not one of those try to trick you in the interview. I hate that too. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I know you mentioned you went from business analyst to data scientist to now product manager. So when you made those changes, what kind of prompted you to quit or make the jump to a different career track?
Money. That's an easy one. No,
I appreciate the transparency.
Right.
No, money definitely was a part of it. But I also didn't want to box myself in. So as a business analyst, and once you kind of get to a senior level, the progression is another role. So I mean, you could, either become like a product owner or a PM, or you could maybe step into a program management role. That depends on, how your levels are set up at your company. But so I knew that, okay, once I top out at business analyst, like, what am I doing next?
Yeah.
And so again, I wanted to get more hands-on and actually, in the weeds of things. So that's where data science kind of came back into the forefront for me. And then I was, of course, reading articles like everyone else. It's the hottest job of the 21st century and all that. All right, well, let's see if I can get in there. And so that's where I got that opportunity. And then data scientist to the AI/ML product manager. I actually don't. Money was, again, an influencer in that, but I think it was more about the impact I would have on on the overall landscape of the business. I felt as like a data scientist, you have a good level of autonomy and you get to make decisions, right? But I think a PM probably sits a little bit above that in terms of the respect given to that decision made. And so I wanted to have more of that, clout in a sense in the business.
I totally understand. And then I have a question. So when you went from data scientist to the AI/ML PM, what skill is in between? Where is the common skill in between those two positions? Like, what prepared you for the AI ML aspect of it?
Y'all are gonna be surprised by this. There was no real change in my skill set. So I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you have to know machine learning and AI. I came in there and I was like, I knew about modeling. I know about the code and like what makes it go. Because in some of my data scientist work, we had to review models to make sure they were ethical and functional before they actually go into prod. So I did do some of that, right? But I wasn't coding or changing their model or doing anything. All we do is tell them, hey, I think that looks wrong. But when I moved into AI/ML, I didn't necessarily, do anything different with my skill set from that. I just translated that straight over, and they were like, hey, we'll kind of build you up. We understand you're not a modeler, because in the product management position, you have data scientists under you. So they actually do the coding of the model, understanding, what method, what techniques they want to use, et cetera, et cetera. All I do is tell them, this is what we need the model to do. Here's the function, and how do we get that from 0 to 1? How do we get that to actually operate within the system? What is the deployment going to look like? What is testing going to look like? What are some of the roadblocks? How do I remove them? What data do you need? What do we need from data engineering? I handle that conversation. But no, it wasn't, I wasn't out here learning. I don't know. I'm taking a class in this right now, so I should know this. What's a random technique like? Oh man, my mind is escaping me. But I wasn't learning all those, or random foresting and decision trees. Like I'm not. No.
That's very surprising, and I think that actually, like by you saying that take a lot of pressure off of people who are like wanting or desiring to go into that field. Because Shanice and I were actually talking about that, and in the back of my mind, I really thought there's like something that you had to do as in addition to as far as like the things needed for a data scientist to qualify for AI ML. So saying that kind of like, okay, take a breath.
Yeah. It definitely helps to know it. I mean, because you are going to communicate with them on a day-to-day basis. So I do need to know, when a data scientist is talking about this or he's showing me his document, because they'll create markup documents to explain the model. So I need to know, okay, this is what technique he used. Here's the statistical reason why that makes sense. And then, here's the output we expect, or here's the accuracy of the model today. How do we track that accuracy going forward?
The good thing though is, and this is why I wish that jobs were more open to training, because it's like learning is you're taking your course on the outside, but you're also learning while you're working. So it's like you're reinforcing both ways. You see it when you're in the class, and then you see it again when you're at the job. So it's like I honestly feel like that's the best way to do it, honestly.
Get paid to play.
Exactly. And then they pay for the school, so I don't have to pay for that either.
Nice. And then so within your navigating those different job titles, how was your salary negotiation experience? I know that subject is taboo. It can be controversial.
Definitely not here. Jay, I don't know how often you come into my Discord, but I'm very vocal and honest with how much money I make. I tell people all the time, like, we can talk about money. That's one of my first, any mentee that meets with me, that's one of the first conversations I have with them is, how much money are you looking to get? And, how do we get that? So in my salary negotiation, I'm always asking for the most. And so I'm coming in, I'm saying, hey, well, what's the range or what's the budget you have for this particular position? They come out and say, hey, well, right now we're maxing out at 140. And, okay, if 140 is feasible for me, we'll continue the conversation. But I'll normally let them know, the conversation with me is going to start at 160 for me to leave that company, Right. And so that gives them a hard number of, okay, that's where we start talking at. That doesn't mean he's going to leave for 160. No, because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I want the conversation to start at 160, but I really want 170, 175, 180, because I want to see how hard you're going to work to try to get me away from my company.
How do you have the confidence to even like...
Which certification I need to get like that?
That's no certification. That's just give me what I want.
Yeah.
I need them dollars right there, man.
No, I just had a full disclosure. I just had an interview. I'm not gonna name the company because I don't want to out them, but had an interview with a company, told them, hey, I'm looking to beat, I think I might say I'm looking to beat 160. And they were like, hey, well, we can do 140 and then we'll give you a 10%, $10,000 sign-on bonus. So I appreciate your time, but gonna have to go in a different direction.
Since we talking about salary, I want to know, like, what should someone expect pivoting into data? Like, what should they expect as a beginner when it comes to salary? What number should they look at?
I think a solid number coming into, you're fresh off the street, your first data analytics role. I would say probably 75 is a good minimum. Mm-hmm. I would encourage you to look for 85, 90.
Okay.
If you can get that. I mean, I think, now, of course, that's going to vary by location. Now, if you're in San Francisco, right, I'm telling you, get 120,
Right. California, crazy.
Yeah, or New York, DC, y'all need to get 110, and above. You need
right,
to get your cheddar. So, no, but I would say probably 75 is a strong first timer offer. Of course, if that's commensurate, again, experience and education.
Yeah.
You got a PhD, you need to get your money.
So how was your experience coming from customer service to being a statistical analyst? Like, was your negotiation like that heavy then as it is now?
That's a good question. No, it was not. I just took it. I wanted to get off that phone so bad. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's more money, hey, I'm gonna just jump into it. And then back to that individual who gave me that first opportunity, I had the conversation with him, like, what is it like, because he obviously makes more money than me. Like, what is it like being a manager, getting your money and everything? And he was like, well, how much, you asked for? And I was like, I ain't asked for nothing. I just took it. He's like, you ain't asked them, you got a real rare skill set. Like, you should ask them for more money. And after that experience, I was like, all right, well, I ain't gonna ask me again. No, don't worry about it. I'm going for it.
I feel like it's a hump that you have to get over because a lot of people who like they haven't done it, it's like they they're apprehensive. But once you do it that first time, it seems like everybody's like, well, you get over that being uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like worst they can say is no, and
absolutely, no, absolutely. That's the energy I've always taken into it. Is worst they can say is no, and if they tell me no, and I know it's a reasonable number, well, it's time for me to look elsewhere. Everyone's hiring.
Exactly.
That's true.
So what advice could you give to people that want to, I guess, network internally at their job? So like you networking with your coworkers. I know it's kind of a thin line of between you getting, too close, networking, becoming familiar, and, somebody trying to oust you and things like that.
No, that's a very good point. I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday. Be selective with who you pick to have that conversation with. So if you want to have a conversation with, hey, I'm trying to learn about, your particular job or what it's like to be in that role, pick the person that you feel most comfortable having that with. Like, don't go pick the person that's going to snitch to your manager and make it messy and tell your director and, all that. Like, no, first, so be selective with that person. And then I just communicate like, hey, I had someone actually do this to me. They recently said, hey, Jakyll, I know you're over there on that team and you're doing a lot of this work. When you get a chance, can we grab a few minutes to talk about that? And that's when they, in that few minutes is when they start introducing their questions, trying to, pry a little bit more information. I know they're interested in joining the team. I know he wants to leave his team to come over here. But, that's typically how I would feed that conversation as well is, hey, John, I know you're over there, you're doing a lot of work in that research side of space. When you get a quick moment, can we have that conversation, have a little bit more of a conversation about what you do day to day and what is that like, because you want to softly bring that in. And then, once you kind of have them hooked and you're answering questions, then that's when you say, hey, what do you think about, putting in a word for me?
So I want to do a spin off on that. So I'm doing this right now. Is like I just got a job as a revenue cycle analyst, and like literally they don't this guy here. They don't use no SQL. They don't use no like Power BI or nothing. They literally use Excel and they copy and paste everything. It's like 4 old people. It's like, and it's terrible. It's a terrible situation. It takes like 2 hours to do something that can literally take 5 minutes on Power BI. So me personally, I'm coming into this organization. I'm like, you know what? Let me learn more about Power BI and see if I could put all these Excel spreadsheets on a dashboard. But I know the stakeholders already made an Excel spreadsheet and things like that. So what I'm trying to ask is, have you ever navigated trying to, I guess, transition maybe stakeholders or a team over into some new type of technology? And how would you recommend doing that, since I'm trying to do that right now?
Yeah, no. So we've definitely had that experience where people don't want to adopt, modern items that kind of, stagnant and static with their old, outdated process. I won't say old, outdated processes. And I think the way you navigate it is the way you're already kind of setting it up. And, I love presentations, right? So I'll go ahead and say, hey, you guys are using Excel for whatever, we're going to continue to do that. But, when you get a chance, hey, I'll ask the manager, can I get 10 minutes in the meeting to just show something new? They don't need to know what that is. And when they pull up and see Power BI, they're going to be like, I done told you, Jakyll. But it's up now. Now everybody sees it.
Exactly.
So, there's nothing you can do. So, now I say, I walk them through my Power BI slides. They see, oh, man. And, and I also present to them how you mentioned that efficiency gain. I put that in the presentation. So I say, hey, today this takes us 3 hours. If you were to use Power BI, this would take us 30 minutes. If you use Power Automate, this would take us 3 minutes because you don't have to click a button and it would tell Power BI to do everything else. That's how that conversation goes.
That's his nickname. We call him Power Automate because he's so fast.
I be trying to automate everything, man.
No, Power Automate is a real thing. It's an office.
So it got so try to automate his sleep with it.
Oh my God, this guy here. Yep, trying to knock myself right out.
Program like, oh my God, I was far.
If they don't want to listen to you over there, I don't want to recruit you, but we got this.
Hey, I'll hold you to that part because I'm definitely looking for something. So I'm holding you to that because I'm trying to get my hand more in Python, and because I don't use Python too much, but I'm trying to get my hand more in Python and use my SQL skills and the Power BI skills that I do have. Excel is all right, but I'm not into copying and pasting. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it ain't paying $75K. I'll tell you that much. So, we'll talk after this meeting.
We could definitely clip that 75 number, but that's after the meeting.
He said I'm gonna eat that. Okay, cool. But as far I guess, look, now we just bleed into the next question. How do you feel about the importance of like mentorship and networking, like and sponsors in your career and stuff?
Yeah,
you might be my mentor, so go on.
We always keep the door open here. So no, it's been a huge part of where I am today, and because of that, I give a lot of credit to those who took the time out to say, hey, I see something special in that guy. Let me invest a few extra moments to have a conversation with them. Even now that I'm at a higher level, I still see, individuals above me, VPs and stuff. And I'm like, man, I want to get, to where he's at, where he's in the corner office for 3 hours and going home in his, in his fly car. Like, I'm trying to do that. But I think mentors they help you with the guidance, right? And then they also help you understand the landscape of the industry today. I think a lot of people are confused. They get into, the role or they want to do this, and we're not explaining what the industry looks like today for an entry-level person. I can explain that. So you see a bunch of jobs, right? You go on LinkedIn, people see, it's 10 to 15,000 data jobs out there, right? You're an entry-level person. What's happening is 80% of those 10 to 15,000 data jobs are for people with what? 5 years of experience,
Mm-hmm.
7 years of experience, 10 years of experience, right? And so we're telling you, hey, I got, 40 data jobs at, TT Time Company. Come, put in an app. And then you're getting a denial. And now you're like, why did I get denied? Jakyll just told me, as long as I do what I do, I apply, we're going to be good. That's because they haven't appropriately explained the industry to you. And what's happening is you have this funnel. We have very few entry-level jobs, a middle bucket, of jobs, right, for the moderate 3 to 5 years experience. And then you have a ton of 5+ year jobs. And they're all messaging me saying, hey, Jakyll, we'd love for you to join the team. Here's 170 plus, 25,000 sign-on bonus plus, 20% stock. And I'm like, I'm not looking for anything right now, but I appreciate your time, and then I push it on to you and you like, I apply, but then I get a denial. It's because, again, that 5 year, 7 year experience barrier. But, we have a ton of entry level talent who's really skilled and I personally believe could do the job, but we're only giving them 3 openings, So you have 500 people for 3 openings. What's going to happen? You're going to have 497 folks that are very upset. And so, you have people that are either quitting the data industry or they're saying, this is worthless, or they're coming on Twitter to trash, Black Tech Twitter, because y'all all posting your salary and your offer letter and now everybody's upset. But it's because they're going through that experience. And so we have to be very honest and transparent. Or my option is be honest and transparent and open up more entry-level jobs and be willing to have that education on the job, So mentorship helps you navigate that a lot.
With that being said, I think that's a good point with the navigating, but I want to touch on the experience part. So you interview people. Are you the hiring manager or you just do the interviewing?
I just do the interviewing.
Okay, so
it's like a committee.
So I'm coming to you, right? I say, you say, oh, we're looking for somebody 3 to 5 years experience. I say, okay, I got 3 to 5 years worth of projects I worked on. Do you count that as experience?
What are the projects related to data?
To data, yeah. I got SQL and GitHub. I got dashboards I created.
I'm giving you a shot. I can't say that.
I know you would.
Yeah, I can't say that for every hiring manager, and that's also problematic, right? So every hiring manager has their own sliding scale for what they'll accept. Like, for example, I know for my first role, I think it was asking for, it may have been at that 5 year barrier again. And I think I was at year 3 or 5 or 4. And she took me, and she took me on and I never heard nothing about that 5 year rule again. So, it's depending on the HM. And that's where I'm a big proponent of reaching out to HMs and having a conversation saying, hey, I know you posted the role and it says, 7, 8 years experience in this particular, I have 5, but I really believe I can do this. Is that going to be a problem? Would I be able to pass through an interview or, is that a hard stop? If they have 6 years, we're going to throw the resume out and see what they say. I think more HMs would be receptive to that type of conversation than people think. But, of course, we're all we're just trying to get a job. So if we're applying, we're going ahead first.
Okay. So it's case by case scenario.
Something.
I believe that you just got to keep going, and you'll eventually land the job. We got somebody in our Discord who put in 150 applications before he got his job. So you just got to keep going with it. But I have a 2-part question here. What motivates you to keep advancing in your career? And also, what are some things that you do to stay current with your skill set and everything?
So what motivates me to keep going is, one, I would say family, right? I definitely want to provide a lifestyle for my family where, they can really relax. I mean, my wife doesn't work, and I'm happy it's that way. I want I tell her, and I don't go down there and, start wilding out at Fifth Plaza and that. But I mean, I don't do that. But I mean, I'm happiest that way. I can carry all the bills, and I want to continue to move in my profession where I can continue to do that. And at a level to where it's now, it's like, okay, now I can invest and, create generational wealth, big on all of that, especially for my daughter. So that's one thing that inspires me. But number two, I love seeing, I want to keep being an example for everyone else, because I love seeing that, hey, Jakyll, I just got my first offer at such and such company as a data analyst. Hopefully I'll be a data scientist like you one day. Like, I love that, because I'm trying to, I want you to, be receptive to the mentorship, have a good time, find your first role. And then I want you to take that and pick someone else back up. So I love seeing that journey, and, hopefully I can get to a level where now I'm not just mentoring folks. I'm saying, hey, I got, 6 or 7 openings on my team. You guys apply for it. And then, I'm directly interviewing you, hey, we're going to put such in this role, So that's where I want to land. I want it to be, where I'm making that decision to say, yeah, I know you got, you want this person PhD and 80 years of experience. We're going to go ahead and take Jay over here, who, has these applicable projects and knows probably what he's doing. He just hasn't gotten exposure to this particular company or what they do in their data landscape. I'm going to take him, So I want to be able to make those decisions and bring more of us on, especially Black people.
I love it. I dig it.
Love, yeah.
I thought there was a part 2 to the question I didn't answer. What was the other part?
It was what are some things that you do to like stay current with your skill set and the industry overall?
Oh, okay. Definitely, I'm heavy on the community. So like, obviously the Discord community you have, I'm in there being nosy. Y'all may not see me post, but I'm being nosy. Seeing what's new out there, what books people are posting, what quick YouTube videos they're posting. So I'm definitely staying in tune with that. Tableau posts a lot of stuff about their community. So I'm signing to the virtual user group, seeing what people are doing new, seeing some different inputs. And then within the company, we have this thing where we share information. So we have our own, Slacks and groups where we have a data science Slack, a machine learning Slack, where people just post stuff. Hey, here's something new I learned, and it's quick tidbits. It could be something like, I learned that if you put this quick piece of code in here, this is what happens. Or it could be, here's my, entire model, check this out when you get a chance. And I'm like, okay, that's a weekend thing, but I'm setting aside time to kind of, click through that and see and share my own experiences there. So definitely staying in tune with a lot of the trainings and community opportunities. I think Looker may have a community too, because we use that as well. And so what'd you say?
I was saying, how do you like Looker? I haven't even looked at that interface yet or anything.
Very fluid. Looker has the feel of a mobile app. So imagine if you had your Tableau setup or Power BI setup, but it was more fluid and you could just click buttons to do quick functions. So it's very fluid, very fast, powerful. It's just a little tweaky, like it can break, And I think that's the, probably the con there, if you don't have it set up. We're newly introducing it. And so that could be something on our end that maybe I'm not privy to, but for the most part, it's pretty fast and it does all the functions.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is a more personal question as we get ready to wrap it up here. For someone going back to school and they want to get into the data world, what degree would you recommend they go for?
It depends on where you want to go in the data world. So I think if your focus is, data engineering, data scientist, data analytics, I'm going to say go get a master's of science in data science. Or a bachelor's of science in data science, depending on where you're at, in your educational path. But I would say, try to focus there. If the programs you're looking at doesn't have that available, or, whatever the case may be. I know I did my bachelor's in informatics, and that taught me everything I need to know to at least, get functional in data science and do, move on forward. So I would recommend a bachelor's in informatics as well. I think my brother-in-law, he has a bachelor's in mathematics. I think that's very applicable. He works as a data analyst today. And my last option would be a bachelor's, of course, in computer science. Is going to give you a lot of those fundamentals. You may still need to pick up on the stats part, but, you can manipulate your degree path to do that a little bit.
So what certs and studying for somebody that's not going to school? Because I don't plan on going back. So could you recommend any certs to study?
Don't listen to him, guys. Going back. We're still working on it.
No, he's going back on my behalf. So
data analytics is such data analytics and data science is such an odd industry that search, to me, they don't really do as much for you as, certain other pieces of tech like cybersecurity. I know those sorts of certain or like if you're in project management, there's a lot of and even if you're thinking about product, a lot of the project management certs will help in that space too. But if you're thinking more so like data scientist, data analyst, I would focus more so on the visualization certs that you can get. So like if you can get a Tableau desktop cert, if you can get one of the tools I know we use, it's called Alteryx. It's more of an automation tool, but if you can get certification in that, I think that would definitely help you out a lot. Trying to think.
You said it's called Alteryx?
Yeah. We have someone coming on who's in Alteryx.
Okay, good. Yeah, so Alteryx, I would recommend that. Another thing you could think about doing, I know a couple of mentees are doing this. Like I know Google has their data analytics cert that you can get now. I think that's helping out. It's still a little new, so I don't know how that's going to help you from the, I don't know how HMs respond to that just yet. I haven't had nobody apply with one yet. I would take it as okay, well, something. But
I'm like 60% done with it. I haven't finished it yet because I got a job, so that I had to start learning stuff for the job. So
okay, no, I think that's good.
I spoke to one recruiter that when I first finished that, and they said it was a good look, but I think it's just because it's the Google name. But one of the program is they do kind of put you into their whole like job listing, like you have access to their exclusive job board thing. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
dope. So I know IBM has one too. I haven't done that.
I do their data science one because between you and the last guest that we had, you guys had me being interested in data science because I'm also into marketing. So when I hear about forecasting, I'm like my mind starts running marketing. So
there's plenty of marketing data science teams, and there's data scientists in marketing. We'll have to have another episode as I explain the many facets of data scientists you can be. No, I mean, I would say check out either the Google or the IBM one. If you're already in Google, to go ahead and finish that one up. I think that will hold some weight, and maybe look into the cloud. Because if you have a ability to say, okay, I know how to do data analytics, but I also know how the deployment works and what it's like to work in a cloud infrastructure, I think that would hold a lot more weight for you. So I know GCP has a bunch of free courses that you can do. AWS, has a bunch of stuff, and then
lucky she got
Azure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who got the Azure cert?
Me.
Oh, congratulations! That's good.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to do that in the cloud.
Okay,
that's where I'm headed.
I don't have no Azure cert, but I'm also a systems engineer. So I work in the cloud already doing Azure and then 365 and stuff. Systems engineer.
What you waiting on? Then? You got to go get this. That's a layup for you.
Oh, I could, so I could go into the systems engineer stuff, but for me, like I'm tired of. It's like you have to learn all these different things because I know, dude, I'm a network engineer. I'm a cybersecurity guy. I fight the hackers. I set up networks. I'm doing project management stuff. Like it's just I'm doing so many things. I want to just be able to sit down with some Python and get into it and kind of just code more. You know what I'm saying? And then analyze things.
That's the cover up story, but the full story is he's a night trader. So I told him, man, you might as well just start doing data since you like looking at charts and stuff,
Yeah,
So
I like trading stocks too. Yes, I trade stocks. So I want to get into machine learning for that as well.
Yeah.
But
My personal suggestion would be to take on 2 roles if you're going to do night trading, because then you could just have your code running while you're doing your trading and you're making money off of that.
So that's why I wanted to even get into data, because
he's not really
this guy here. Yes, night traders don't exist. But
okay. I was making
that's his joke. That's his joke every time he does that. But it's called day trading. But no, that's actually why I wanted to get into data, is because I already do IT and I love IT and I'm curious and I like to analyze things. I like to automate things. So while I was day trading, you know, I started realizing when Jamar was creating, you know, all about the data, he was telling me, hey, this kind of mix into, you know, trading. So I was like, okay. So I started looking at that and algorithms and machine learning. I'm like, well,
why don't you be an algorithmic trader?
So that's what I'm learning now. But I said, you know what? Let me quote my job so I don't have to study systems engineer stuff like Kubernetes and all that stuff. And let me pivot into data so I could get into data analytics and get into data science. So I could actually do machine learning, get paid for it, and then just use that skill to build on the day trading stuff as well.
Do you know, you are aware how much a quant or algorithmic trader makes at Citadel, right?
Oh no, I know what I mean. Make a lot of money.
Okay, I just want
make a lot of money.
What kind of trader?
Algorithmic trader. Quant trader.
Okay. Oh, that's where Quant King J comes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Quant King J building. I already know.
Okay. Making sense.
Yeah, so that's my little plan. But Jakyll, we can talk about that, you know, after.
All right, you know, we'll finish the podcast.
Hey, I'm gonna listen to you, man. I need some guidance on it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, that you got a lot of wisdom. I need to talk to you too about the marketing and data science. Sound like you got some gems from me.
We might as well set up the 2 next Zoom calls right now. We're gonna set you up for 3 and 4.
But yeah, we gonna just jump right into our Tech Titan part of the show real quick, where we just show love to a Tech Titan that's, you know, contributing to the data world. Tech community overall, actually. So let's go ahead and jump right into it right quick. Tech Titan.
Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Oh, yeah, this was a good one. Okay, so our Tech Titan for this episode is Ruby B. She's a digital project manager. She posts remote jobs every Saturday on Twitter. Remote jobs with transparent salaries, that's the key. So if you're wondering like what a certain salary is for a certain position, she's your go-to. She also accepts requests for these posts. So for instance, like this week post is entry-level positions and international listings that has those transparent salaries. So if you're into that, which I'm sure everybody is, because everyone wants to know like what to make at their job, go on her Twitter and check it out. It's her pinned tweet, so you don't have to do that much work. Just go straight to there and it'll be a Google Sheet. She also has a Twitter thread for that post as well. It's sort of like a guide for how to get these jobs once you figure out the salary and what they make. So we're going to link her Twitter below. So yeah, go ahead and go on there and show her some love. She also has her Cash App that's on the Google Sheet. So if you're feeling very generous, go ahead and shout her out that way. But Ruby, we just want to thank you, and we see the work that you're doing and we appreciate you.
Fast, very fast. 2 times for Ruby. 2 times for Ruby.
Ruby.
Yeah, so that's what's up. So Jakyll, we appreciate you coming on, man, and dropping all these gems on the All About the Data podcast. Once again, for all the people tuning in, make sure you join the Discord. We at 3,000 plus members. Make sure you tune in to SQL Saturdays. Come study SQL with us. I ain't beefing with SQL no more. We okay now. We ain't all the way friends yet, but we acquaintances. So, you know, come study with us. We are now live on YouTube and Twitter for SQL Saturdays. So we got some good stuff cracking with that. Also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, LinkedIn, Facebook. We on Facebook now too. We've been on there, but it was dry. But I just put some water on it.
Hey, Jakyll, what is Jakyll's Discord again? I ain't get it.
Oh, we'll put that in there too. We'll put the link for Jakyll's Discord in the so let's get Jakyll Discord to 3,000 plus members so we could torture him every day with questions.
Oh boy.
But we gonna go ahead and sign out. All about the data, baby. Peace. Jafar, you gotta stop the recording. Thank you very much. Because
I love peace signs. Boy, press pause.